Okay, here we go. People of Earth, let's start the questions. Basically, Joe Bennett and I had never worked together before, and we started on Alpha Court, and we just hit it off. Just completely hit it off right from day one. And we were messaging back and forth and emailing back and forth, and Joe's sharing pages with me, and he's asking questions. It's a full collaboration. I'm digging it. I'm really enjoying it. And after about a week, Joe says, he messages me, you know what the Rippaverse needs? It needs like a non-superpowered masked vigilante, some like a Batman or Punisher type character. And I'm like, okay, let me think of it. And I came up with the Horseman. and I ran it by him, and he did this incredible pitch piece, and we showed it to Eric, and Eric liked it too. So here we are. First of all, I'm 11 years on Batman. So I'm kind of conversant with that kind of character. No superpower, self-made man, driven, crime-fighting guy, street-level guy, with lots of cool gadgets. And then my favorite character to write ever was the Punisher. I still think of Punisher stories, even though I don't get paid to do that. And I can't say that about any other character I've ever thought of. I'm always thinking of things for Frank Castle to do, but I don't have a venue. It's one of the reasons I created my novel series about Levon Cade. So when Joe said, why don't we create a masked vigilante character, street level guy, I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm all for it. I want to scratch that itch. But I didn't want to repeat myself. First of all, I didn't want him to be a Batman, because only Batman is Batman. And I didn't want him to be Frank Castle. I didn't want him to be basically Frank Castle is an unpleasant prick. So I think that's why I relate to him. I love Frank Castle. But I didn't want this guy to be that. I also didn't want this guy to be driven by grief. He is partially, but his loved ones who were injured by crime are still with us, or some of them. And so he has stakes in the game. He has people he's responsible to that he has to take care of. And of course, then he's always getting into trouble. His secret identity is very much an important part of this story. He must keep his identity as the Horseman's secret. And he's just a normal blue-collar kind of guy, and that's really the approach I wanted, because I always saw Frank Castle as kind of a slob hero, and I mean that in the best way. And I wanted, Hector Caballero, who is the Horseman, to be of the same type of slob hero. You think of like Bruce Willis characters. So that's why I wanted to do it. He is different in that he has no death wish. He still has people in his life that he cares about, and that's unusual for your vigilante loner character. And the Horseman is not alone. I think we get each other. And we really, really like working together. He comes up with crazy ideas, and I come up with crazier ones, and then he draws them to perfection. It's just amazing watching what he can do. And I know Alpha Core was terrific. Alpha Core was fantastic. But that was really our first time getting to know each other. The Horseman, things really blow up. The first few pages of Horseman, I told him over and over again, I said, they're just genius. The whole book's genius from an art standpoint. But particularly the first few pages just blew me away, because it really is a movie on paper. And his ability to throw in all that detail and yet keep the characters animated, keep the story moving. He's that rarity. He's a comic artist of like an illustrative quality, like a high-end, realistic, dramatic illustration style, but he can tell a story too. And a lot of times that's not a combination you find. Well, lots and lots of action. It's basically the beginning of the origin of the Horseman. I want to get away from the trope that the first story tells the entire origin and the origin is finished and complete. We kind of meet the Horseman after he's become a Horseman. and then we learn more about him and why he became the Horseman. So we see the origin in his relationship with his surviving loved ones. And we learn about him through his actions rather than anybody talking about him or him talking about himself. But lots and lots of action as he basically gets in a lot of trouble in his hometown of Chicago. And he emigrates with his sort of quasi-family to Florespark, where he takes up being the Horseman once again. And he's an off-the-books outlaw vigilante, so I think you kind of know he might just be running into some of the other characters, more lullaby characters in the Rippaverse, but I don't want to give too much away. But it's Joe Bennett just blowing the doors off. This is a balls-to-the-wall crime action story with what I hope is a very, very satisfying conclusion and a lot of fun and a few touches of dark humor. Actually, I just completed the script for Horseman #2 today. I sent the first draft to Joe. I sent the first draft to Eric, waiting to hear back what they think of it. And what Horseman 2 is, it's very much a follow-up to 1. The Horseman's career is left very much in doubt at the end of Horseman 1. And Horseman 2 gives him a new direction, a new phase in his career as a new character is introduced into his life. Who will drive the events of #2. And again, ultraviolet crime drama, as the Horseman really ramps up his game. And with the added threat that he always knows that there might be somebody flying by who might not appreciate what he's doing at the moment. But, it's tough guys, shoot 'em up stuff. And Joe's going to get working on it, I think, in the next week or so. So it's an 80-pager. Came out to 80 pages. But I never know with Joe. Sometimes he expands the action sequence, so we'll throw a few more pages in there. It's everything I look for in working for a publisher or working for an editor. I'm always looking for someone who has faith in me, that I don't have to second guess myself, that they trust me, particularly with their own toys. I mean, Eric let me loose in the Rippaverse. I'm allowed to run around his playground and pretty much do as I please. And he's trusted me enough to actually give me a couple of very, very important assignments dealing with the legacy of the Rippaverse, and very, very much enjoy writing. It's a big challenge to create this epic story for him that you'll be hearing about soon. But, that's all I ask. And also, I'm free to create, to outbuild this new comic book superhero universe, and I love that stuff. I love that stuff. When I was on Batman, I added all kinds of gadgets and gizmos and different elements to Gotham and different recurring characters and things like that to really create a three-dimensional universe, a deep continuity for these characters. So I just sent Eric the other day a bunch of ideas for logos, for stores, for fast food restaurants, for products, for all kinds of stuff, and creating, badges and flags and things like that. So yeah, it's been a joy beginning to Eric and his crew. They're just aces. They're just so much fun to deal with, and then co-writers like the Saskas. And Mike Barron, I mean, I'm in good company here. I'm among friends, and that's a really important thing. You don't think about that reading comics. Do these people get along? Are they having fun? I want to assure you, we are all having fun at the Rippaverse, and we hope that you share in it. If you're having half as much fun as us, then you're having twice as much fun as you should. As I'm finishing writing Horseman 2, Joe is wrapping up a project. He may be done today. He was only a few pages shy of the finish of it. This is a new project for Rippaverse, brand new character. I don't want to tell you anything about it. I want it to be a surprise. But it's kind of takes the Rippaverse in a different direction. It's kind of exploring a different genre. The visuals by Joe are freaking amazing. some of the craziest stuff I've ever written. And man, he rose right to the bar and affected it awesome. And this new character is going to play a pivotal role, very pivotal role in the Rippaverse. That I can promise you. Well, that's it. I hope I gave you guys what you want. You let me know. All right. See you down the road.